We watched the situation over the Middle East deteriorate. Let's not forget that it was this president who intervened in Libya and who stood by those young, youthful, exuberant Thomas Jeffersons over in Egypt who are now burning our embassy down and killing our ambassador. It was this president who encouraged the Arab Spring. And now that violence has surfaced in Egypt, Libya, Yemen, and Tunisia once again, where the guy set himself on fire and he said, oh, that's like Rosa Parks. Here's the latest violence. It's spreading everywhere and it's all connected. No story is an island by itself. That's one of the hardest things that we have to do, and one of the things that I think the media has just given up on. They don't tell you the story and how it's all connected, so that you don't have any context. You see things as disconnected, and you also see things as just, okay, there's an ambassador. What did that? When did that happen? Everything interacts. Everything is tied to each other. Do you remember when we did a show about George Soros and his patterns? Let me remind you of the show that we did.
Step 3 is to destabilize the state, which can be done by causing an economic crisis or perhaps taking advantage of an existing crisis that just happens along. Step 4 is to provoke an election crisis. What this means is that he waits for an election, and then when the election takes place, he declares that the election is fraudulent, that the opposite side, his opponents, are stealing the election. He uses his controlled radio or TV stations to blast this message around the country. Once you provoke the election crisis, then you go to stage 5, is that you stage massive demonstrations.
Okay, I don't know if this is but this is a legitimate steps on how he overthrows governments all the time. I think we're at the beginning of something really bad, America. Do the Soroses of the world have their hands in this? I don't know. I will tell you that we saw the rioters wearing Occupy Wall Street masks in Cairo. I mean, hello. And everything that is playing out right now leads to nothing but trouble, financially and socially, for the entire West, let alone all the people over in Israel and all of the people over in the Middle East. We have open-ended QE, quantitative easing, money printing now. Open-ended. They just have it in Europe, and the courts over in Europe said that the European Central Bank can do whatever they want, whatever they feel is necessary, including just assigning technocrats to just take over countries. Egypt is now asking for another day of rage, and I tell you, if we send them another damn dime, my head will explode. President Obama is insulting Israel by not meeting with Netanyahu. Can you imagine? We're supposed to be friends. Can you even imagine that you say to your friend, everybody is surrounding their house, they're trying to set it on fire, they're all shouting over the fence, we're going to kill you, and they call you and say, hey, can I just meet with you for a little while? And you, their best friend, says, I'm sorry, Jack, I'm busy. Oh my gosh. Russia has chimed in on the embassy attacks with a heartfelt told you so. The head of their Foreign Affairs Committee tweeted, under Gaddafi, they didn't kill diplomats. Obama and Clinton are in shock. Well, what did they expect? A democracy? Amen. I can't believe I'm agreeing with the Russians. Russia was buddy-buddy with Gaddafi. And remember when Gaddafi died, Hillary Clinton gloated? Do you remember this?
We saw, he died.
That's funny, because that's exactly the same thing that you can say about our American diplomats and 2 Marines. The reports are coming out now that this was highly coordinated. I don't know who's involved at this point, but we're being set up. I'm telling you, something's big time wrong. Do not go rushing in saying, send tanks, send planes, go get them. Don't do it. We're being set up. Is it Russia seeking vengeance for the murder of an ally? Is it just Russia because they want to control the oil in the region? Was it the Muslim Brotherhood trying to make a statement on 9/11? Is Iran involved? Is Iran working with Egypt now? There are so many questions, but the media is too busy worrying about Mitt Romney to ask those. We're going to get to them as many as we can tonight, but as we go through, I want you to remember one common denominator in all of these scenarios. None of them end well. Things get worse before they get better. I cannot stress this enough. The world is about to change. I don't know how long it's going to take. There was a study I read today, was it in Bloomberg or USA Today, I think, that almost 10% of the United States, 10% of the American population has closed their bank accounts. They've pulled their money out of banks. That's not good. I'm not suggesting that by any stretch of the imagination, but I am telling you now, have cash on hand. You never know when things can dramatically change. Remember, we got up on a Tuesday morning. Everybody thought it was fine. Nobody saw it coming. Boom, lights out. There wasn't an airplane that flew for 2 weeks. Things can change quickly. Please prepare.